This is Margaret Ann Windsor, um, my real name, name I was given when I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 1941 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, a pigsty. I was given the name of Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. Peggy and Carl, the twins, had a different birth date than even I that they gave me, and the birth certificates for both of them are, you should see them, they're marked through, which is illegal. Point being, their mother, Lina, killed them. They were born out of wedlock, and I'll leave it at that because I end up using up all the tape before I get to the point. My father's the real King Edward VIII. He never married Wallace Simpson, an impostor did. The whole thing was a lie, orchestrated and carried out by the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Freemasons. It's all the same, just a different name maybe. But my own uncle got in on my kidnapping when I was born in '39. He was with Roosevelt, and I've put all this pictures and stuff on previous, and even some I've done today. So if you care to go back there, but I was telling this about mind control murders, etc., back in way before '76, and I wrote a book, medical malpractice book, unpublished, and I've told about the reason why when you have antifreeze put in you with a letter from the FBI you've already received, why you can understand why it didn't get published. Now then, I want to go into one thing that I haven't really said on here. When I was doing the book, I don't go from, I've written down a note here, but I don't really go from anything I've written. It's from memory. So let me say this. By the way, I have a chemical, I'm allergic to chemicals, and it raises havoc with me sometime, and they just use the blowers and the, not lawnmowers, not just lawnmowers, the other two, by the way, I'll show it to you. That's just part of it, the mode. So try as you may, I laugh to get through it. It's not funny. But anyway, if I stop and have to think, why, or try to, it disrupts my thinking ability and a lot of other stuff. Now then, before I go into this other, I want to say that I wrote the book about mind control murders. Larry McDonald flown out to Flint's because the person that shot him was programmed to shoot and kill his attorney. Now then, you got the Virginia Tech and Fort Hood, that are later date. I wrote about, or tried to, I wrote about it, didn't get published, about murders, mind control done in patterns way before even 1970, okay? Now then, when I came up to Roanoke, my jobs were gotten to. I came here in October, I believe the 20th of '86. And I lived on the Appalachian Trail. If you don't have a job, and even law enforcement and the FBI are closing down your places to stay or controlling it, it's hard to live. No money, and nobody wanted to hear about it. In fact, I will say this. I wanted to make this one quick so I didn't have to go into another tape. Mr. Lovett or Lovell, I can't remember his last name. Back when I was walking up and down the side of the road, and I mean I did that in the scorching sun with no food or hat on, or from one place to the other begging. They made a beggar and a pauper out of me and tortured me every day of my life. But I'm talking about doing it from Atlanta to D.C. to here. But this is after I came up to Roanoke, and I was took to living up on the Appalachian Trail and the Jefferson National Forest, just to have a place to be and keep me out of those elements. And people all knew it, but I passed Lovett's. He had a garage. I'll say Lovell. Lovett School is where one of the mind control murders in Atlanta, where he went to school. Jens Zoring's the German diplomat's son. It was murders that were prosecuted in Bedford here. That Jens and Elizabeth went to Charlottesville, University of Virginia. He went to school at Lovell, I believe. They had different names, but this is Mr. Lovett's or Lovell's garage out here, and he had a good spot in Troutville, not far from the trail. I had to pass his place every day, walking back and forth. At one point early on, I had no money, nothing. I was so glad to see $2 bill or $2. I couldn't believe it. But I walked past his station, and the only time I ever saw his wife, she was there. I went in because once in a while, well, he would put out coffee, for a while he did, and I could go in and get a cup and maybe a donut or so, something like that, which helped when you've had nothing to eat and you're starved and you're cold or hot, whatever. But anyway, she was there on a stool, and she said to me, she handed me $2, gave it to me. She said, the people around here all know about you. They know what's happened, etc. And they're not going to help you because they don't want to get involved. They're afraid of repercussions. So I'll leave it at that because that's been the norm. Now then, I guess I'm not focused this at anything. I wanted to get into now because that's been people will go against me and do things rather than helping me. I wanted to go back to when I did the book, though, a point I wanted to make before I go on with this. When I was doing the book and researching it, Dr. Jonas Robertshire, which I just put on some tapes, he was head of, professor of psychiatry and law at Emory University. He was a good guy. Let me reiterate that. This is a beautiful man, ethical. He was murdered. They don't tell you that, but he was murdered. And he sent a client of his, Gene Strokerman, to my attorney, Eugene Kaiser, former Fulton County District Attorney in Atlanta. She was murdered at Piedmont Hospital, and this is just one of the things I was writing about. She worked for Dr. Hardiman, a psychiatrist, and this gets into a whole ball of another wax that they would want me dead. Okay, I can't tell it on the tape, but she at Christmas Eve, I think it was 76 or 70, had to be 76, I believe. She was blown apart by the Christmas tree in Dr. Hardiman's office and died. And her daughter was becoming a doctor, and I believe she was here at Charlottesville going to school, University of Virginia. I don't know her daughter. But anyway, that was a medical malpractice that she had using my attorney against another psychiatrist while she worked for a psychiatrist. Before antifreeze was put on me, April the 1st of 80, after I'd done the book and got a letter from the FBI, the one doctor that I believed in, of course I'm a believer anyway, I like to believe there's good intent, and I've learned that's not true in everybody. I won't mention his name, but he called me, and this is just before I had the antifreeze put in. He should have died in 80, April Fool 8 of 1st of 80. He called, and he said, tell me what you know about the Strokerman, Dr. Hardiman, and the Strokerman murder. Okay, I started telling him, and he said to me, people will help when they're not afraid of repercussion. They'll give to the United Way, a big brother, so you get the message of what he was saying to me. But when it comes to they fear their job, or their kids have committed a crime and might go to jail, everybody has something to hide. When they fear something like that of repercussions, they'll actually cut your throat. Now, he didn't tell me that, cut your throat, but those are my words. But in essence, that's what he said. Now, I was, let me go on back to Dr. Robertshire and Gene Strokerman, and I wrote about Warren and Rosina Matthews, forensic pathologist at Piedmont Hospital, where a lot of this, Larry McDonald, the congressman doctor, was urologist, and his family, I don't care what they say, his family controlled the hospital. So I'm going out to the Center for Disease Control, which is at Emory University, and that's where the good doctor, Roberts,